Hi, Matt with etrailer. Today we're going to be talking about PullRite SuperGlide fifth wheel hitch. This is going to be the one designed to work with your prep package, and today we're going to have this on our 2020 Ford F-250. So this is going to have the Ford prep package it's designed to work with. Now, if you don't have that prep package, you can still get this. You just have to get the variation of this that comes with those rails if you don't have the prep package. Now, for this one in particular, I think this is going to be great for anyone who's looking for a sliding style of fifth wheel, especially if you do have a shorter bed. If you have those shorter beds, if you're trying to make those tight turns, what's most likely going to happen if you don't have a sliding fifth wheel is you're going to make contact with your cab and you can really damage or hurt someone. So definitely keep that in mind. Now, if you have the 8-foot beds, they're not as required, but they're still nice to have. It's also going to be nice if you don't want to be hauling full time. If you want to use your truck for truck things and you utilize this bed area, this is going to be much easier to take out than some of the other types of fifth wheels out there. If you have any experience with this at all, if you decide to go with it, let us know what type of trailers you're using with it and how it feels just on a daily basis of driving it. Take a few pictures, leave a comment or review just so we can get a better idea. Now today I'm going to be focusing on a few things. First, I'll talk about the main key features that I like about this. Then I'll move over to how this is going to work with our F-250. And then finally, I'll go into my final thoughts. So some of the key features is going to be that weight capacity. So the one I have on here right now is going to be rated for 16,000 pounds. And that's going to be for your towing and 4,000 pounds for your vertical load weight. Now there is another variation of this if you need a little bit more. That's going to be rated for 20,000 pounds and 5,000 pounds for your vertical load weight. Really, they're going to be the exact same thing, just different weight capacities. That one with a higher weight capacity is going to have some type of load stop at the very front of it, just for that extra protection. But other than that, they're the same thing. Now, the difference between those two capacities, that towing capacity and vertical capacity, the towing capacity is going to be that total weight of your trailer that you're pulling behind you. And the vertical capacity, that's going to be the downward force that's being applied to the fifth wheel itself. So something to keep in mind there is knowing what your truck is rated for. Find that out and then go from the lowest rated component just so you don't damage anything. Something to keep in mind though is if you do decide to go with this, just make sure you get a capture plate with it. That's going to be a custom fit thing too, and it's going to attach to your pin box, and that's going to allow this to work properly. Because if I show you how this works now, once this goes to slide, it's going to turn and pivot and turn like that. And that's a nice thing because it just auto slides. You don't have to come back here when you're making that turn, pull pin, and then go. You can just start making those turns and you're good to go. But with this fifth wheel turning like this, you need to make sure that the trailer is going to turn with it. And so that's what that capture plate is designed to do, is to help keep everything in place when you do make those turns. And of course, it can turn either way. I just turned it here the first time, but just like that, it can turn like this too. This is going to be pretty easy to maintain. The reason why I say that is because with this sliding up and down, you're going to need some type of lubricant. And really all you're going to need is some WD-40 to spray on these rails, and it'll probably be just good as new. It's going to keep this working good for a long time. Now when it comes to the jaw itself, the way this is going to work is you're going to have your kingpin that's going to slide into place, and it's going to make contact with this trigger that's in there. Once that trigger goes off, it's going to release the jaws, and then this is going to pull into place. And with it in place, then you can start hauling. Let's move over to what it's going to be like to actually live with. So we just got done talking about those jaws. At some point, you're going to have to release those jaws, and we're going to have this handle to help us out with that. It's going to be pretty easy to see since it will be coated in yellow at the very end, letting you know to grab it. And we don't have to worry about any other type of clips. This is actually really nice to know because just grabbing it as is, really easy to do compared to some other ones out there. And with the height of our truck, this is good. Now, if your truck is lifted, that might be a little bit of a different story depending on your height, but I think in most cases you should be fine. And then we just pull on this. There's going to be a decent amount of resistance to it. but you'll hear a click letting you know it's disconnected. Now you notice my kingpin's still in there. So what you're going to have to do is just pull your trailer or your vehicle forward some, because what's keeping it in there at the moment is that trigger. That trigger will actually go in the reverse orientation and then disconnect. Now let's talk about how much space it's going to take up in your bed. Now with it being more of a sliding style fifth wheel, yeah, it's going to take up a decent amount lengthwise, but also the height too. So if you get that measurement real quick, that's going to be right about 8.5 inches, and this is kind of pivoted in a more upright angle, so it's going to take up a little bit more space. That's important to think about. If you have a tonneau cover back here, especially if it's one that is recessed, it may make contact with this. Now with a lot of tonneau covers, I would typically recommend just taking off the head, and it would save you some space. In this case, we just have to remove 2 pins and just lift up on this. Then you can put that off to the side, but you notice it really didn't change the height too much. I can still get that measurement. Now it's going to be sitting at a little bit over 17 inches. So saving you a little bit over an inch of space, but what that's mainly for is just to help you out when you're lifting this out of place. Because compared to the other sliding ones or auto sliding ones, this is going to be much lighter. It's going to be around 200 pounds. I know that sounds like a lot, but if you have a friend to help you out, it won't be too bad. Now how you would take this out is pretty simple. All you have to do is come over here to the side. You're going to have these 2 clips. You just remove those, pull that out, and then just maneuver this lever. And once that lever is tilted by 90 degrees, then you can just pull this out. Now of course I'm not going to do that right now because it is pretty heavy, a little bit too heavy just for myself to lift. In my opinion, I think this is going to be a solid choice for anyone who is looking for that type of sliding fifth wheel that's just going to be easier to work with. Especially nice if you need to make those tighter turns. You don't have to come back here, pull any pins. It's going to be ready to go just as is. Now there's going to be other options that do this too, but I think this one's just easier to work with because it's going to be lighter. But that was just a look at the PullRite fifth wheel hitch on our 2020 Ford F-250. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.